How you doing? My name is Trevon Smith. It's definitely a pleasure for you to be joining me today. I appreciate your time. But most importantly, you're doing something for yourself, so you're going in the right direction. Um, you're probably asking, hey, what qualifies this young man? Not young anymore. What qualifies this young man to think that he can help me after I paid him to help me with my credit? And I tell you simply like this, excuse me. I used to be you. I used to have bad credit. I used to work paycheck to paycheck. I used to be on government assistance. What else? Arguments in the house because, the bills need to be paid and you don't know how to properly express yourself because we're not taught those kind of things in our community and in high school or some college courses, depending on what kind of college course you're taking. And then one day, like hopefully, if you don't have kids, one day you hope that light switch flips, and that's something that happened to me. One day, I just woke up and I was like, "What can I do to improve myself? And what can I do to make more money?" But I'm at a 9 to 5, and I'm not due for a raise till next year. So my background is I worked in radio for 13 plus years and still, work on some high profile projects. So I worked out of Los Angeles. And you might say, if you're on radio, why are you struggling or whatnot? Hey, everybody, nobody gets paid what they think they need to get paid, correct? Nobody gets paid exactly, matter of fact, what they probably deserve to be paid as yourself. You've taken this course and you're listening to me, Trevon Smith, for a reason. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set a plan for you that I used, and I'll tell you a little bit about how it helped me out later on. But going back, I worked in radio for maybe 13 plus years, so I was also in charge of. I was known as what they call the production director, and some of those job entities included being the community director. So I was in charge of the community. So we used to do community shows once a week, in which I tried to put on as many people as a PSAs or whatnot that helped out the community, just because that was something I enjoyed and I felt like that was my way of giving back. So a couple times on there, we already ran the commercials. You know how you run the commercials and oh, we'll fix your credit for $1,500. We'll fix your credit for $2,000. We'll fix your credit for $799. And I came across an interview of a brother that I still do work with. Shout out to Andrew Jessicoba. Helps me to this day. Helped me buy my first house, and like I said, we'll talk about that um, later on down the line. But he gave me a book called Credit Repair Simplified. So if you get a chance, go check it out on Amazon. Credit Repair Simplified, and it's a short book. It's an easy read. You don't have to be college educated to read it. And it made me realize that the core of your finance shows and your financing and whatnot, it comes from your credit. But once again, I'm going to reiterate, we're not taught that in our community. We're not taught that in high school. And it depends on what college classes you're taking that you might learn about that. So what we'll be talking about today is fixing your credit. Easy ways to fix your credit. And I know for a fact it works because I did it and I've helped hundreds of people do it. So we're going to talk about your credit history. We're going to talk about the processes of changing your mentality because fixing your credit, we'll go into details in one of our next segments. But fixing your credit is a mentality. So I don't go to the club anymore. I don't. I definitely don't pop bottles. I don't put myself in debt. For Christmas, I have a game plan, and we stick to the game plan. I'm not overdoing it on Christmas. Um, I mean, I believe in enjoying my life, but in order to fix your credit, you have to be disciplined. You have to have a goal. You have to know why you're doing what you're doing. And that's the key to fixing your credit. Unless you're tired of going paycheck to paycheck, and we'll talk about how fixing your credit helps you a little bit of relief from paycheck to paycheck. Um, so that's it. I'm Trevon Smith. Thank you for joining me for the next couple minutes, and we'll be working on you fixing your credit. And we're back. So paying your debt off. Why should you pay your debt off? Why should you pay your debt off? Well, I have my notes right here, and there's a couple of reasons why you need to pay your debt off. The main reason why you pay your debt off is because it helps you with something that I know we all need, is a car. A lot of people may say, what does that have to do with my credit? Not exactly, but you know what it has to do with your credit. But let me help you out with your credit. So going in detail, as we talked about, you making more money without getting a raise by paying off your debt. This is a prime example. Whatever you make per week or whatever you make bi-weekly or monthly, a substitute teach as well. So, I get paid per month. But then previously, like I said, I was in radio, so I got paid bi-weekly. So these are items that you can knock off to help you increase your paycheck. Bing, one. Did I get it right? Virtual backgrounds, one. Paying off your debt with, let's go to the car, for example. Let's use an easy number. I'm gonna go to my screen, see if I can share my screen. Share my screen. No, we don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Can you guys see this right here? Share my screen. There you go. Share my screen. The principal is the money that you originally agreed to pay back. The interest is the cost of borrowing the principal. If you plan to pay more than your monthly payment amount, you can request that the lender or servicer apply the additional amount immediately to the loan principal. So if you have a car note, and let's use an easy number, it's 2021. So everybody's car note is pretty much high if you have bad credit like I had. Let's use an easy number. And this might not reflect your car note. It might be less or more. Your car note's $500. If you have bad credit, $350, no, $350, $300 to $350 goes to your principal. So, but remember, we said the car note that you paid was $500. So $150 to $200, excuse me, went to the interest, which is the bank or the financer who let you borrow the money. So you're paying $150 to $200 a month to pay for the money you're borrowing. That's for somebody with bad credit. That's $500. So $300 goes to your principal and $200 goes to the people for letting you borrow the money. That's if you have bad credit. And some people have horrible credit. So guess what? $200 goes to the principal, which is your loan, and $300 goes to the people that let you borrow the money. And that's more of an accurate statement for most of you. Go look at your car note. See how much goes the principal and see how much goes the interest. And I'm guaranteeing you, I'll buy you lunch. Most of you, if you're watching this video, $200 goes to principal and $300 goes to interest. That's horrible. More of your money goes to borrowing more of your money out of your pocket goes to borrowing the money instead of the actual money you borrow. You have to fix your credit. Now, somebody with good credit, we take the same $500 car note. Somebody with good credit, $450 most likely goes to their loan, which is the principal, and 50 bucks goes to the borrower or the bank or who issued the financing or who let them borrow the money. So in layman terms, you're knocking down your loan or paying off your principal in 3 years instead of 5 years. So now now your same car loan, somebody has bad credit and somebody has good credit, excuse me. Somebody has bad credit versus somebody has good credit, same car loan. They pay it off in the good credit pays it off in 3 years, which the car was 18,000. The person with bad credit pays it off in 5 years, and the car was 36,000 for the exact same car. For the exact same car, you're paying $15,000 more because of bad credit. We have to fix our mentality. If you're going to go out on the weekends and pop bottles and have fun, you could take that same money, and I'm going to show you how later on in the segment, how we're going to pay off our credit. And therefore, you won't be paying all that money. Now, just think about that. If you added all that money up throughout the years of your lifespan, if you have good credit, let's just throw out numbers. You probably pay in cars maybe $100,000 in interest. If you have horrible credit, you paid close to a $250,000, $250,000 easily. Possibly, but you get what I'm saying. The ratios. You have to take care of your credit, and that's what we're going to talk about. But I can't do it without you. It's a mentality. You have to meet me halfway. Somebody showed me how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to tell your family members to come back and watch this video, and tell your friends to come back and watch this video. Principal versus interest is the number one reason why you're going to fix your credit. That's the number one reason why you need to fix your credit. The second reason is, which we won't talk too much in this video, because you will need to buy a house. You have to buy a house. A lot of people don't know how the housing market works. You have to buy a house. If you're paying rent right now, most likely in California, where I'm at, your rent's like at least close to $2,000. And that money goes to somebody else for them to build equity. You're not building anything. You're just renting it from them. You're just putting a roof over your head. But if you fix your credit and purchase you a home, your mortgage will never be $2,000 unless you have something that's beautiful, and which we all want. So you can have a mortgage for $2,000. I apologize for not saying you won't, but you can have a mortgage for $2,000. But it'll be 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, and it'll be yours, and you'll acquire the equity. So the second reason why you're going to fix your credit is you're going to eventually buy you a home or an investment property. You have to obtain financial freedom. You have to. You have to. That's the only way you're going to stop working 9 to 5. We have to change our mentality, and that's something we'll go over and over throughout these segments and any other videos you see me. You have to change your mentality. So just to reiterate, the 2 reasons why we're going to fix your credit. Number 1, it's going to help you with your money, whether you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Because if you have less of a car note, if you have a $500 car note with bad credit, that's taking $500 away from your check. But if you have good credit, the same car you probably got for $250 or $300. So now you have an additional $250 or $300 on your paycheck. You get what I'm saying? And that's without even getting a raise. So if you take care of your credit, which is not as hard as most people think, remember I just told you, they're charging you $1,500, $2,000 to fix your credit, and I'm gonna show you how to fix it yourself. So if we're saving $250 to $300 every check, you've already had an increase more than you're going to get from your job when it's time to get an increase for 15 cent, 25 cent. Some people get lucky 40 cent, 50 cent. You're not going to get $250 a check, $250 added additional to your check. What we're going to show you, with me and you, because you're going to put in the effort and I'm just going to show you what I've already done, is how to save money by just fixing your credit and paying less interest in your house. The number two thing is you're going to obtain financial freedom by buying your home. That'll be in another video. But you have to go buy a home in order to obtain financial freedom. Number three is paying off your debt. Let me go over here, share my screen again. Screen. Okay, we're sharing my screen. So I want to go to shrink that, close that out. Let's go to this right here. Paying off your debt. This is one of my past clients right here. She had a Macy's card. Here's the information right here to the Macy's that she needs to contact if she had a problem. This is the account number right here. This right here box tells you what kind of card it was. It was an individual. It wasn't a joint account. It wasn't with her husband. It was a joint account. She opened it. You can see the date right there. Her last activity. It was closed. You see how many times she was late? She was late 2 times. Monthly reviewed. It was a charge off. Account closed by credit. This is all she owed, 516 bucks. 516 bucks. So you're seeing this right here, 516 bucks. Show you another file that she had with us. We helped this lady clean up her credit, and now she's in the process of buying a home with a 710 FICO currently. Once again, Wells Fargo. This is the information to contact them. Individual credit. It was open. It was closed. She owed $102. Her credit limit was only 300 times. Maximum time she was late. 0 times, 0 times. These are the things you need to know about your credit report, and it will help some of you guys go through it on a consultation basis when you contact us if you need help reading a credit report. So what I'm saying is, we've seen a $500 debt and we've seen a $100 debt. So if we go back, I just said that you were paying a $500 car note because you had horrible credit. Excuse me, a $500 car note because you have horrible credit. But with the same car, you can get it $300 if you just paid off your debts. So you have a $500 debt and a $100 debt that would probably boost your score up 30 to 40 to 50 points, which puts you in possibly good credit zone for $600. You say, how do I pay that off? We'll talk about that in one of the following segments. We'll contact them. We'll let them know. But let me just tell you right now, it doesn't take a rocket science. Most of you guys got a stimulus check. What'd you do with it? Most of you guys got your taxes. What did you do with it? Some of you had no choice but to pay off your rent and to put food on the table. But most of you guys probably messed off a little bit of money. Take the money you're going to mess off and pay your debts. Pay your debts. Get in the good credit bracket, pay less on your interest rates, and gain more money on your checks. So for $600, she could have probably saved $5,000 to $8,000 on interest. You do the math. Pay your debts off. Number one, the reason why we're watching this video, we're helping each other. We're trying to gain more money on each check, paying off our credit. Number two, we eventually want financial freedom. We eventually want financial freedom. We're going to buy a house. Number three goes back to number one. If you have less credit cards, if you have less bills, you make more money. Going back to number one. If you have a less car note from $500 to $300 because your credit's good and not bad, you have more money on your check. So now we went from $500 to possibly $100 and paying $50 for this credit card, $50 for that credit card, and a $500 car note. We have a $300 car note plus no credit cards no more. So now we done went from, you do the math, that's $700 that you were paying in bills to now down to $300 because all you did was be more responsible, be accountable, and pay off your debts. That's what we're here for. It's a change of mentality. I can only help you if you meet me halfway. We'll be right back and we'll talk about getting down to business now. How can we fix our credit and how can we raise our credit score? That's what you're here for, right? I'm Trevon Smith. It's not hard to find me. I'll provide all my information at the end of the segment. Contact me. We'll do one-on-one consultations, but we got to get you in the right category. Good credit, financial freedom, change of mentality. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You see my 2020 World Series Championship shirt on. A lot of out of Los Angeles, California, right here. Beautiful Southern California. So I don't know where you're checking us out. Good morning, good day, good evening. It doesn't matter. My name is Trevon Smith. I'm here to help you help yourself. And maybe you could teach me a couple things too. We're available for all consultations and please, tell a friend to check out our videos. We're just trying to bring information to our community. Our community is the less unfortunate one. It has no color. It's just the less unfortunate. That's what we're here for. I'm Trevon Smith. Like I said, over 10 years in radio, and I'm just starting to see my seeds harvest that I've planted, but it took accountability. It took a change in mentality. That's what we're big on in this video, change in mentality. In this segment, we're going to talk about fixing and rebuilding your credit. The same people that you hear all these commercials about paying $1,500, $2,000 about, we're going to show you, so you can show your friends or tell your friends to come back and watch the video or contact us. And we're going to show you how to do it yourself. That's the big thing. When you pay somebody $1,500, $2,000, you're just too lazy to go do it yourself. I mean, if you're going to take your car to get an oil change for $30 instead of you doing it for buying the oil and not paying a labor fee, then that's one thing. I mean, because you ain't got time to go sit there underneath your car and do it because you could be working on other things. So you go pay somebody $30. Or you go pay the car wash people $20. It's a good deal, it keeps people employed. But when you could wash your car yourself, that's fine too. But if you're gonna go pay somebody $1,500, $2,000 because you too lazy to be accountable and you trying to sneak around the system, in order to beat the system, you have to deal with the system. You have to grab the bull by the horn. You can't run away to fix your credit because you know what's going to happen? Those are the same people who say, "Oh, I got scammed." Yeah, you got scammed. You told somebody to fix your credit $1,500, $2,000. You got scammed. You can fix it yourself. It's just gonna take a while. But you know how I know? Because I did it. And I watched hundreds of people do it. So once again, in this segment, we're gonna talk about fixing your credit. Changing your mentality is the phrase, the analogy of this video. Change your mentality. Stop being lazy. Be accountable. Depend on yourself. Positivity has to be embedded in you. That's something I'm big on. Every day you wake up, be positive. Oh, it's hazy outside. Man, I love the rain. I love the sound of water when I fall asleep. I love to get cozy in the bed, get a blanket. I don't know what you watch. I might watch First 48. I like I watch a yachting show. I like the yachting show. Sometimes I watch 90 Day Fiance just to laugh. I know it's all made up. I just laugh at it. I'm a big sports guy. Do what makes you happy, but be positive about your life. I know it's an old cliche, half glass, half full. Be positive. Stop complaining. Stop bickering. Stop saying everybody else is at fault and you haven't did anything. You're at fault. It's your life. You have to be accountable. But be positive about it. Say, hey, today I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna be better than yesterday. Or this week, it's Monday. I can't wait to finish something that I didn't even know I was gonna start. That's how I wake up on Mondays. I'll be excited about Mondays. I'll be like, man, I'm gonna figure something out this week. I'm gonna figure something out. You have to have faith. You have to believe. I'm not telling you to be religious, but you have to believe. You have to have faith in yourself. You are the key. Not your husband, not your wife, not your boss, not your homie who's making money and he ain't helping you out. You're responsible for you. Don't count another person's pockets. Don't depend on another person. And the last thing we're going to talk about before we talk about fixing your credit and building your credit is changing your environment. Broke people hang around broke people. I ain't telling you to lose all your friends, but I'm just letting you know. Bad credit people hang around bad credit people. Broke people hang around broke people. But guess what? Doctors hang around doctors. Lawyers hang around lawyers. Investors hang around investors. Real estate moguls hang around other real estate moguls. People in the gym hang around other people in the gym. You don't never see a person in the gym hanging around 4 or 5 people that's obese, that's 100 or 200 pounds obese, because pretty soon you mimic their habits. That's the reason why you have to change your environment. Let's start it off like this. If you start hanging out with everybody, I don't know what you make. I don't know what your salary or your annual income is. I'm just going to throw a number out there. If you start hanging around everybody in your circle, you get new friends, and all 5 of them make $150,000. Let me guarantee you this. Somehow, some way, you're going to get close to making $150,000 because you're a product of your environment. You've mimicked their habits. You went home and read a book for the first time instead of turning on Netflix. You went to YouTube and watched how to do this or that and watch motivational speakers instead of going on Instagram talking about why is everybody lying? Why does everybody think their life is so great? Don't worry about them people on social media. The only time you should be on social media is to advertise what you do now, what you got going on. As far as business, create a business, fix your credit, create a business. Start an LLC. That's a whole different segment. Go to inkfile.com. or whatever other legal entity they have to start a business. Pay them to start your business because you get all the paperwork. $300 to $400, you will have a business within 7 days. And then start a business after you get the paperwork. That's what I did. Because if you pay that money, it forces you to take the next step. But you know how I know? Not from hanging around with my friends I grew up with. And I hate to say that just in case they're watching this video. But hanging around new people. They taught me that. Just go pay for it. If you was gonna go out to San Diego or go out and take a trip or do this and spend $300 or $400, how about you start a business and get it incorporated, all for $300 or $400? And you don't have to use Inkfile. I'm not getting no support from them. I am sponsored by Monster. I do have a couple sponsors. So get a business. Fixing your credit. That's what we're here for, right? The grand finale. I'm gonna take you to one website that helped me start it all. Can I share my screen with you? You know, my screen is always messed up. Where we at? Desktop. Share my screen. Share my screen with you. Here we go. I want to go to a quick couple memes. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. Look at this. This is a perfect meme. The choice is yours. I'm sharing all my screen with you. I'm just being honest with you. You know, I'm a pretty down to earth person. No gimmicks, no games. The choice is yours. Look at all these boxes that he used. You can choose to use your box to block you in, or you can choose to use your box to use the steps you need to get where you need to get. Going back to my screen. Next time I do this, I won't have so much stuff up. This website right here. Write this website down. Annualcreditreport.com. Annualcreditreport.com. Take a screenshot of this. So on this website, you can request your free credit reports. Annualcreditreport.com. Request your free credit reports. So what does that mean? Well, let me tell you, because this is what got me started. On this website, you can correct all 3 of your credit reports at once. You know, some people might sign up for Equifax, or some people might call Experian, and some people might write TransUnion. I just gave you a different variable for how people handle each situation. You can take care of all 3 subject matters at this website. So let me help you out. You go to annualcreditreport.com and you put in your information that they're going to kind of pinpoint who you are. They'll say, have you ever had a car loan here? Or have you ever lived at one of these addresses? And then once you're all correct, like, yeah, I've lived at this address within the last 10 years. Yes, it looks like I've had a bank account with one of these banks. Yes, it looks like my car loan has been with one of these cars. Then they're going to verify you, send you a two-step text or email, make sure they have your phone number, whatever. You respond back with the code. And then you're going to go into your credit report. In your credit report, you'll see stuff that looks like this. This is called, when you're on annualcreditreport.com, this is called a soft pull. If you don't know the difference between a soft pull and a hard pull, a soft pull is Credit Karma or anything over the internet. A hard pull will be from a car, if you're applying for a car financing, or you're applying for a home loan. When you're fixing your credit, it usually, you want to go get a hard pull that usually costs about $15 to $20. And it's every bit worth it. So on this annualcreditreport.com, they'll give you a couple numbers, and it's definitely a benefit. So you'll see something like this, Daniel's Jewelry. You'll call them and say, hey, I know that I owe you guys. Is there anything we can do to put my account in positive standings, or anything I can do to get it out of negative standings if I make a payment agreement with you? And of course they'll say, yes. So your next step will be, well, can I get that in writing so you can, because I'm trying to fix my credit. Can you send that to me in my email? Most of the time they will. Sometimes they'll say no. Either way it goes, you're gonna have to pay it off. Some people say, hey, we'll send you a letter after you pay it off. And then just say, well, can you send me a summary of what we talked about? Or if you have a cell phone, you can record the conversation and email that conversation to yourself so you have it noted that they said, once you pay this off, they will remove it from the negative on your credit report. It's important to not just pay it off, but to try to get it removed off your credit report as a negative. Because it does no good for you now because it's a charge-off. Excuse me. So what you're gonna do is say, I wanna make $20 a week or $20 a paycheck, or whether your paycheck is bi-weekly or monthly. I wanna make $20 payments. And even if you can make more, because this is your last chance, you don't wanna say I can make $100 payments, and then you can't make $100 payments because something came up. You want to say I make $20 payments, 20 goes into 300, let's say 15 months. For 15 months, I'll make $20 payments, but I'll try to double up when I can. So even if you could pay it off in 2 months, just pay it off. But you have the agreement for $20 just in case you get in a hard time. You pay that off, you get your letter, and now this is off your credit report. But all this happens because of annualcreditreport.com. You get all this information. So that's if you're gonna pay something off because it looks like you can't get out of it, or it looks like it is yours or whatnot. But the first thing we're gonna do is when we go to annual credit report and we go to Experian and we go to Equifax and TransUnion, the first thing we're gonna do is everything that's 7 years from today's date, 7 years prior, you're gonna say, this needs to come off. Everything on your credit report that's over 7 years has to come off. Everything. It doesn't matter what it was. It doesn't matter if it was a car. It doesn't matter if it was a phone bill. It doesn't matter if it was a cable bill. Everything over 7 years ago has to come off. In which, if you're watching this video, you guys probably have at least 3 to 4 things. So that in itself will boost your credit score up. That will boost your credit score up by itself. Everything over 7, today's date is so-and-so, so-and-so, 2021. So everything on your credit report that's 2014 or prior, 2013, 2012, 2011, anything prior needs to come off. And you mark it as needs to come off because it's past 7 years. So some people might have 2 or 3 things. Some people might have 5 or 6 things. So you've already got your money's worth by even me telling you that. And that's information you might have already known. But it needs to come off. The second thing is, we said if you were going to make an agreement to pay, I would do this. And here comes the goal. Everything that's negative on your credit report or charged off or late and you're not using it, if you got a Visa bill and it's late, then don't listen to this. But if you got a Visa that's charged off, if you got a jewelry card that's charged off, if you have a light bill that's charged off, if you have a Macy's card that's charged off, a gasoline card that's charged off, I want you to look at me when I tell you this. I would mark it as it's not mine. Don't know whose it is. It's not mine. That's probably 50 to 75% of your negative credit. If you're watching this video and you're hanging out with me for the day so I can hang out with you and we could both learn something. So step number one is we're going to say everything over 7 years is too old to be on this credit report. Step one. Step one. Step two. Step two. Anything negative, charge-offs, late, repos, anything. It's not mine. You want to know why you do that? Because according to the credit laws and fair housing credit and fair credit acts, those companies, financing companies, creditors, they only have 30 days to contact Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian back. Sometimes the mail comes in and the notification comes in and people too busy. Maybe they just don't get back in 30 days. Sometimes that company don't even have the same address. So they mailed out a letter to let them know that you're challenging a particular item and they're not even at that address anymore. Or they're too busy because they don't have the manpower that they used to have. So it might take them 45 days to get back. Or the address is not the same. Or amongst other things, the lady who's in charge of it might be on vacation. She might be on maternity leave. I don't know. I'm just trying to help you out. If they don't contact Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax, but within 30 days, it comes off. So now you have about half of those items that fell off because not everybody's not going to call back. Somebody's going to call back and say, yeah, they definitely owe us that money. So now, in step one, we helped you say everything over seven years needs to come off. That's an easy fix because that's the law. Step two is we said everything that's negative is not ours. We don't say it's stolen or mistaken identity. We just say, I don't remember this. So what? I don't remember. It's not mine. And if it is mine, they'll prove it's mine. Right? That's how everything else works. So now half of those fell off. So now your measly score, in which I had one as well, let's say 500, 450. Now your 450 score goes up to 510. Your 500 goes up to 560. We're halfway there. We're just trying to get a 600, 630. Because 600, 630 puts you in the ball game in order to make other things happen. So now you can get to the 700. So now we're at the 510, 560, right? And then we go back to sharing our screen. That's when we call these step one. Once again, I'm trying to go over everything so you can write things down. Step one, anything over 7 years has to come off. You notify TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. You can usually do that through annualcreditreport.com. But if you can't contact those, say this is over 7 years, it needs to come off. They won't even ask you any questions. It's a law. Step two, everything that's negative is not mine. We're not asking you to lie. We're not saying somebody stole your identity. Just say it's not mine. Make them prove it. Make them prove it's yours. So half of those come back. So now we got 3 or 4 items that's messing up our credit report, but originally we had 7. So now we go from 7 negative items to 3 items. Items like this. I just told you what to do. Call them and make a payment arrangement for $20 per check. And if you could pay it off sooner, you pay it off sooner. So now this is 1 item gone. Then 2 items go and 3 items go out of your negative because you've made payments for 2 months consistently. So you've and you've done, like I said, even though you could pay more, you make $20 payment arrangements because the number's right here. Who doesn't take money to pay off an old debt? They're gonna work something out with you. And remember, ask for the letter. If you can get the letter stating that if I agree to these terms, then this will be removed from the negative credit report. If you can, win. If you can't, you pay it off and it comes off most of the time. If not, you've already done like I've asked you to do. Grabbed your phone, recorded the conversation so you have proof. That's 2. That's 3. So now we went to 510 to 560, right? This is how I'm going to help you get to the 600s and above. Capital One. Everybody can see that? CapitalOne.com. Screenshot that. CapitalOne.com. This is for the people that's trying to build their credit now that we've removed the negative and we've paid off. We've removed the negative. We've made agreement in terms to pay off the 3 we have left out of the 7. So now, after we pay everything off, or we have a couple payments left, now we start working on adding credit. So you're going to go to CapitalOne.com. You're going to get a secured card or prepaid card. Let me make sure I plug my computer in. Battery's going low. Sorry about that. You're going to go to CapitalOne.com. Get a secured card or prepaid card. A secured card or prepaid card reports to the credit agencies and credit bureaus like an unsecured credit card. The difference is a prepaid card, a secured credit card through Capital One. Wells Fargo has them. Bank of America has them. Chase has them. But you want a secured credit card. A secured credit card works like this. Yes, you're approved for a credit card through Capital One, but you must send $250. So basically, they're just letting you have a card with a $250 limit that you've already paid for. But with that $250 limit, it gets reported to the credit bureaus and credit agencies as if you have a credit card. So when you get that, so when you go, you send them the money, or you pay that money to Wells Fargo, Chase, or Bank of America, wherever you get your secured credit card at. And when that credit card comes, you tear it up. You don't use it one time. You tear it up. You tear it up. And then a month or 2 later, you're going to go to Macy's. Macy's gives credit cards pretty easily. But you have to wait about a month or 2 after your secured credit card. And then Macy's is going to approve you for a $300 credit card. And you know, everybody knows Macy's has everything 50% off. You're going to tear it up after you get it. You're going to tear that credit card up. So now you have 2 credit cards. You have a Macy's card, and I'm not sponsored by Macy's. I just did this. It was easy. But you're going to do it 2 months after you get a secured credit card. You get a secured credit card in which you pay $200-300. If you can pay $500, because the bigger the balance you have, the faster your credit moves up. So you're going to wait 2 to 3 months after you knock down your negative charges, in which we make promises to make agreements, and you have to stick to those agreements. So a couple months after that, you're going to apply for a secured credit card. You get the secured credit card. Then a couple months after that, you're going to apply for the Macy's credit card. So now you have your negative credit cards taken care of, your negative credit taken care of, and now you're working on your positives. So now you go from 510 to 560 to 570, or if you have 560, now you go to 610, 620. And now all you need is time on your side. Because if you keep doing positive things happen, right? We just talked about changing your environment. Doctors hang around doctors, lawyers hang around lawyers. Good credit hangs around good credit. So now you're at the 610, 660, Instead of the 550, 450, we started with our 500. Now in about 6 months, you're gonna go back to Capital One, but you're gonna apply for an unsecured credit card. An unsecured credit card means you have to leave no money down. They'll just approve you with a $500 credit card. When you get it, tear it up, don't use it. This is not for Christmas. This is not for Valentine's Day. Do not buy anything on credit. Buying on credit means you don't have the cash to afford it. All we're using is these credit cards is to build our credit to get to the 700. Because once you get to 700, you're unstoppable. Now you can go do anything. Now you can go apply for anything. That's your goal, because your credit score is the core of your financial freedom. We're trying to get you towards financial freedom. So with that being said, if you have any questions, any concerns, feel free to email me. Feel free to text me. I'll leave my number up. I'll help you out. We do one-on-one consultations. Thank you. Please go share this video. Share it with your community. Share it with your friends. Let them know. Come see me. Come talk to me. Remember, it's all about the mentality, the changing the mentality, the being positive in your life, the changing your environment. Because our goal is financial freedom. Financial freedom is not the world. Money does not rule the world. Not your world. Your health does, your family does, amongst other things, your kids, your grandma, your mom, if they're fortunate to still be alive. But you need financial freedom in order for you to be at peace of mind, so you can help. You can't help others unless you help yourself. So I'm gonna leave this with you. 2 people that I listen to weekly, 4 times a week. Go back to sharing my screen before we get out of here. Evan Carmichael. Go subscribe to his page on YouTube.
Sometimes it's not about.
These videos are amazing.
Self-determination and faith, intentionality and trust. I mean, it's always a balance of those two, and that's what keeps life being a consistent game. I can't not know what the heck would happen if I didn't take the challenge or find out. That's what will keep me up at night.
I think we need to start a new unbranding campaign. Sensei McConaughey.
Those videos are jewels.
Ladies and gentlemen, Believe Nation, I am super excited to have a special.
Those videos are jewels. It's free counseling. And this is another one, Jim Rohn. Let's end it with this.
Here's the key on this. Don't major in minor things. If you take up major time to do minor things, I'm telling you, you'll be behind the curve constantly. Here's what we learn in sales training. What's major time and what's minor time? Here's minor time, thinking about prospects. Here's minor time, making lists of prospects. Here's minor time, keeping books on prospects. Here's minor time, going to see the prospect. Here's minor time, evaluating the prospect after you've been there. That's all minor time. Here's major time, in the presence of the prospect. That's major time. And if you took a look, if you're in sales and you took a look at a week, you'd say, my gosh, I'm spending 90% of my time on the minor stuff and so little time on the major stuff in the presence of. How many hours in the presence of?
I'm gonna let you go check that out on your own.
How many hours in the presence of during my sales week?
I'm gonna let you go check that out on your own. Jim Rohn, Evan Carmichael is just 2 to name a few. Listen to those 4 times a week. They will get you motivated. Remember, the only reason why we're trying to become financially free is, number 1, we deserve it. Number 2, you can't help others until you help yourself. And you know your family depends on you. Plus, you deserve more. So that concludes our presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Please send your friends, family, let the community know. This is for the community, by the community. I'm Trevon Smith. It's been a pleasure. Please check out our other videos when they're up and ready. Thank you again.